Bill Phelan, Ann Mahoney, Mayor Koch, and Doug Gutro. All right, let's remind everybody about the format. One at a time, each candidate will get 3 minutes from the podium, and then we'll do 2 audience questions after each candidate has had a chance to speak. 3 minutes, please. You'll be timed. You'll see the stop sign flash in front of you if you start to go over. So up first, we'll hear from former Mayor Bill Phelan. Bill?
Thank you, Frank, and I'd like to thank the LGBT community for hosting tonight's event. I'd also like to thank Mayor Koch for being here, and Doug and Ann for being here, and for being candidates for mayor. Quite frankly, it's not an easy thing to do. So this is the main event, which you've all been waiting for. When I first came in, somebody reminded me about a battle that I had when I first became a school committee member, and I said, oh my goodness, you know, I always don't know whether or not people remember who I am. It's been 8 years since I've been in office, so I'm going to take a couple of seconds just to remind folks. I grew up in Quincy, one of 8 children. My dad died young, 53 years old. My mom went back to work. All 8 kids did great. I decided to stay here in Quincy, raise my family. I am just so blessed to have such a wonderful family. My wife Tracy and I studied together, took the train together while she was getting her master's and I was going to law school, and both working full-time, trying to work our way through school. We have 4 children, 3 daughters, 2 of whom have graduated from college, 2 graduated from Mount Holyoke College actually. My 3rd daughter, who graduated from Quincy High, is now going to Syracuse next week, so I'll be driving her out there, and I have a son who's 16 years old as well. So how lucky am I, and why am I here? Growing up, my parents taught us to all help people, no matter what you do. So I love to help people. I was also born with red hair, and I have 2 redheads, by the way, so I'm afflicted with red hair. My mom had red hair, and I can always remember her saying, Willie, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? And, you know, I think about that question a lot, and I grow with that question, to be perfectly honest with you. But I think the city needs 2 things that I hope I can provide. One is strong leadership, and the other one is fiscal management. Let me tell you a couple stories. I'm going to remind you about the story about the toxic waste dump that the high school would be on right now had I not been elected to school committee. And I ran for school committee only because one of my daughters had a learning disability, and I wanted to fight for her and for kids like her. And I ended up on the school committee, first year school committee member, and there was a proposal to build a school up off of Quincy Ave on what was formerly the dumping ground, exclusive dumping ground for the Four Rivers Shipyard. I led a grassroots movement when every political figure in the city was a proponent for that. I was a lone 1-year school committee member who had the ability to stand up and say no. By the way, had I been in office in any of these offices when I was the mayor, I would have stood up and stopped the city from taking people's homes in North Quincy. I would have had the ability to do that and stand up and make a decision. Fiscal management, I could go on and on. I'm out of time. I can't believe 3 minutes went up so quick. I'm so sorry, but I know I can help the city. I've done it before. I can do it again, and with your help, we can move Quincy forward in a way that will make us reach our potential as a city, because we have such great potential in Quincy. So thank you all for being here, and I look forward to the discussion tonight.
Thank you. Up next, we'll hear from School Committee Woman Ann Mahoney. Ann. 3 minutes, please.
I want to thank the LGBT community for hosting this event, and I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight, because our city is on the verge of a big change, a 4-year term. And let me tell you, right now we are stuck in the mud. We have holes in our downtown, we have holes in our budget, and we have a whole lot of taxes that aren't giving us anything back in return. I'm here to talk to you today about a new day for Quincy, about the changes we'll have when I am your mayor. The first thing we will do is we will get our arms around the spending that is happening here in Quincy. It is reckless, it is unnecessary, and we need to take control back in our city. This administration has spent wildly on things that have not had a return on investment. We have seen things go out of control. And what do we do for it? We give ourselves a 23% raise. That's not very impressive, is it? So here's the thing. We need to stop the craziness. We need to take control back of our city, and we need to do it now. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to put our arms around the city, and we're going to take our city back. We have the chance to elect somebody who is not, her career is not in government. Her career is in the private sector. My career is in the private sector. I have a degree in finance. I project manage multi-million-dollar projects, and I do it really well. I lead teams to the finish line. I deliver products. I deliver on the end result. And I'll do that for Quincy. We need that for Quincy because we've had too many failures and I've been waiting for too long, just like all of you have been. That's the first thing that we're going to do because Quincy, I'm sorry to say, we are not an ATM. So we cannot keep going back and asking for you, the citizens, to pay taxes on things that we haven't had delivered. And when I'm your mayor, we will deliver. The second thing that we need to do in City Hall is to become more inclusive. Right now in City Hall, we do not feel like we're part of the fabric of City Hall. What do I mean by that? Our city is a diverse city. Our city is made up of many different cultures. Asians, young professionals, the LGBT community. But let me tell you, we are relegated to the sidelines when it comes to City Hall, and we need to be recognized at City Hall. And when Mahoney is your administrator at City Hall, you will be part of it. We will celebrate your community commitments to our city. You will be part of City Hall. And that is what we will be doing. Because we need City Hall to stand up for all of us. So I'm asking you to join me in a new day, a new vision for City Hall. I'm asking you to vote for me on September 24th so we can begin taking back our city, beginning a new day and meeting the full potential of the city that we all believe in, the city that's made up of all of us, not just the connected group, but our community, our heart, our soul, and the future of our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next, we'll hear from Mayor Tom Koch. 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the invitation to be with you this evening, and I'm proud to serve as your mayor. It's truly a privilege and an honor to do so. I live in North Quincy, 2 doors down from the house I grew up in. My oldest just graduated from North Quincy High School this past June and is off to St. Joe's in Maine. And my twins, Tom and Abigail, will be juniors at North Quincy High School. 3 generations attending North Quincy High School. And I bring that up first and foremost because I know you hear from the opposition about, I'm not really sure what the term reckless spending means. We're investing. We're investing in your city. We're investing in our kids' education. We're investing in the safety of our city. We're investing in projects that affect neighborhoods in our city. Schools alone, we built Quincy High School on time and budget. We built Central Middle School. We got 80% reimbursement from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to stretch our dollars. Sterling Middle School, the planning is now underway and architect is on board. We expect to get 75 to 80% reimbursement for the Sterling Middle School. This summer, 5 school buildings, all new doors and windows. 69.73% reimbursement, stretching your tax dollars. You might have seen recently a $5 million grant from the federal government to build a pump station to a neighborhood that's been ignored for decades with their flooding issues. We rebuilt a seawall down in Howes Neck and Edgewater Drive. We're investing in your city. Just as we have to maintain our homes, we have 53 municipal buildings. They're your buildings. They're public assets. It's our job to maintain them. And we're in an economy when every economist tells you, whether you're in the private sector or the public sector, now's the time to do that because you can't borrow money any cheaper. And our bond rating went up last year with AA+. Only 3 communities in Massachusetts have a higher bond rating than Quincy. That speaks to fiscal stability, fiscal responsibility. Our debt ratio, what we borrow against our budget, is under 6%. Most cities are 8 to 10. So we're spending responsibly. The term is we're investing in your city, in your infrastructure, in your neighborhoods, in your schools. We have a brand new senior center. More than 4,000 members are enjoying that senior center. Wonderful, wonderful location for the seniors of our great city. So we're dealing with issues from the young to the old and everything in between. We doubled the size of the drug unit. We tackled the opiate issue head on. We were recognized by the White House as a national model for how communities should deal with this terrible drug addiction we're dealing with. That's leadership. We didn't walk from the issue. We're hitting our challenges head on. Our drug task force has implemented all kinds of new programs. Programs in our schools, drug drop-off days. We're the first community to use Narcan in the United States. Folks, we're bringing our city forward, and it's been recognized by national publications, one of the greatest cities to live in for mid-sized cities in this country. So I appreciate the opportunity to be with you, and I ask for your support on September 24th. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we'll hear from Councilor at Large, Doug Gutro. Doug, 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Frank. This is an historic night, in my opinion. And I want to thank Frank Rubino as the head of the LGBT meetup, and I want to thank his predecessor, Pastor Nathan Pifo, who established the meetup, the LGBT meetup. And I want to also thank Sheldon Bennett. Many of you in the LGBT community, yes, you can clap for Sheldon. Sheldon was the pastor that put the marriage equality banner along with his parishioners on the United First Parish Church before gay marriage was legal in the state of Massachusetts. So this is an historic year for the LGBT community. You know, after 37 states have passed gay marriage, the U.S. Supreme Court ruling finally acknowledges marriage equality in the United States. And here in the city of Quincy, for the first time in my lifetime, we have an LGBT candidates night on issues that are important to all of you. So thank you. Let me say this specifically on that issue. In 2004 was the state Supreme Court decision that legalized gay marriage here in the state. There was a virtual petition. While Sheldon was fighting the good fight across from City Hall, there was a virtual petition to get the support of elected officials and others on gay marriage. I was one of 2 elected officials in the city of Quincy to sign that petition, and I'm proud to have done so. I also want to say that diversity is of paramount importance in our city and any city. You look at the changing culture that we've had. We just celebrated the August Moon Festival last weekend. You know, we have 25 to 30% Asian Americans here in the city of Quincy. We have opportunities before us. The job is not done when it comes to equality. There are issues with housing discrimination or job discrimination or hiring or promotion discrimination that exist. There are opportunities in city government to actually post jobs on the city website and give everybody an equal opportunity to apply for a city job. Does that sound like a novel concept? It's not. There are also opportunities on city boards and commissions to get participation from all folks within the city of Quincy, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, and other issues. I'm running for mayor in the city of Quincy for a variety of issues that the other candidates talked about. It is about leadership. It is about management. It is about openness. It is an opportunity to make a change that this community has seen over the last 14 years we can make a change here in the city of Quincy as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will take 2 questions from the audience. Let's remind everyone about the guidelines regarding questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand first. Please do not direct a question to any one particular candidate, but rather you can pose a question to the 4 candidates. We'll give each candidate a chance to make a 30-second response. 30-second responses, please. If the 30 seconds runs out, you'll see the stop sign flash in front of you. And since we haven't had a whole lot of LGBT-specific questions tonight, I'm going to request, can we have an LGBT-specific question? How about you over there in the orange?
Yes, thank you. My name is Jim Hahn. I'm an eye doctor in Quincy Center. I'm gay. I've been serving Quincy 18 years here in my practice. Lived here almost 16 years. My husband and I have a house in Wollaston. We love it here. I love the patients that I have here. Yet we still don't feel completely part of this community being gay. We don't have, there's no, you have to have a gay club, there's no gay club, there's no place for hate, things on restaurants, promote rainbow flags, whatever. My question is, what would you do, or are you doing as mayor to help integrate the gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual people in our community to feel more welcome and part of the fabric?
Okay. 30 seconds till Phelan.
Thank you. And what would I do? Listen, your community is the same as my community. Everybody's welcomed in Quincy. Should we have gay clubs in Quincy? Sure. If somebody's going to open up a gay club, there's everybody is the same here. Diversity is what makes our city so great, really and truly. And by the way, when I don't know who the other individual that signed that petition was, but it must have been me, because I signed a like petition. In fact, I was honored to be in the city clerk's office when the first gay couple in Quincy was married under that new law. So I mean, this is something that hits home with Quincy. When I grew up in Quincy, we had a community that was basically Irish and Italian. My kids went to school with people from all around the world. We started a cultural fair in Quincy when I was the mayor as well. So any event or any group in Quincy that wants to strive in Quincy and do better in Quincy and make our community better, we're all in it together. What I'm most concerned with in Quincy is our future, and that's part of our future. You're part of our future, and you were under my administration, and you will be in the future. So whatever I can do, we'll learn from you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mahoney?
I want to thank you for that question. And I'm going to start by saying we need to be inclusive in our city. When the rainbow flag was stolen 4 times from the Church of the Presidents, it was ignored and it was not treated as a hate crime. It was hateful, and it was our city that should have stood up. It was our mayor and our city council that should have stood up for this community. It still frightens me to this day, because that was not that long ago. And today we stand united as a country because we accept marriage equality. And I want to let you know that I stood on the right side of history with you for that. And I want to stand on the right side of history again with you as your mayor. My new day for Quincy is inclusive. My whole run for office has people who are working on this race that include the gay and lesbian and transgender community. And when I am your mayor, our office will represent that same community. And I look forward to that day. And I look forward to your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mayor Koch?
Thank you, and thank you for that question. Our city has a number of boards and commissions and committees and task force, and I'm proud that we have an Asian American Advisory Committee that has been terrific with me, guiding me with some of those issues. I think, Jim, when you're in my office, we talked about what things we could do, and if there's a group that wants to step up and come up and see us, we'll be glad to meet with you and talk about some of those issues. I'm certainly open to that. The city of Quincy, people are moving here for a reason. And I don't care whether you're black, whether you're Asian, whether you're Catholic, you're Protestant, whether you're gay, lesbian, whatever the case may be. What do we want here in Quincy? We want a safe city. That's what we have. You want clean streets. That's what we have. You want beautiful parks. That's what you have. Outstanding schools. That's what we have. We all enjoy all of those beautiful public assets. And our job is to provide all of those to all residents of the city. And that's what we do. And I think we're doing it quite well. And that's why we've been recognized by so many publications. And that's why people are moving here. I'm out knocking doors and I hear from young couples all the time who are delighted to move to the city for those reasons. To be close to Boston, to get to work. They got young kids, they're excited about the schools. They can enjoy the parks, they can get on the beach, enjoy a walk or a bike ride, enjoy the beautiful natural resources we have. Quincy's a great place. I'm proud of the progress we have made, and I invite you to put a group together, and we'll be happy to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Gutro?
Thank you very much, Frank. First, let me say that since marriage equality passed, 352 same-sex couples have been married in the city of Quincy. Secondly, let me say, when I'm mayor, my boards and commissions will actually meet. The mayor talked about the work that he's done on drugs. I sent out a public records request and I asked for the agendas under the open meeting law and the meeting minutes from the task force, the mayor's drug task force. And until I sent that, there were none. March of this year was the first one. I sent a public records request. The Disability Commission has not met in several years. Human Rights Commission. These are people that voluntarily serve, whose voice needs to be heard in the city of Quincy. When I'm mayor, folks will be given an opportunity to participate in the process and have a voice in city government. Thank you very much.
Thank you. One more question for the mayoral candidates. How about you, sir, over there?
My name is Tim Lynch. I live in Squantum. I've lived there since 1991. And we've heard some statistics tonight. I'd like to correct them. 34.5% of all unaccompanied homeless youth in Massachusetts, nationwide, are LGBTQ. Some of the statistics put it as high as 40%. These are all people under the age of 24. 1 in 3 teenage suicides is related to being LGBTQ. 1 in 4 LGBTQ youth has tried to, not thought about, tried to commit suicide. I know this because I've been on the board of directors of the LGBTQ Bar Association for 16 years. I've been president of a youth advocacy program for 15 years, and I've been involved in multiple task forces, including, unfortunately, recently, the LGBT youth in the court system. The juvenile criminal court system has been flooded with LGBT youth because they're committing survivorship crimes. What have you done to address this crisis? Because we're not like everybody else with regard to this crisis. What have you done with respect to this crisis, and what will you do with respect to this crisis? Thank you.
Okay. Bill Phelan, 30 seconds.
You know, I listened to the first question too, and I was listening to the answers. I don't feel as bad. I didn't hear anybody else come up with any great ideas either. But with regards to your specific question, very important. We opened the Germantown Neighborhood Center, for example. We had a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness, and we cut the number of beds at Father Bill's place in half and provided permanent housing. It was a national model, provided permanent housing for residents that had supportive services. Very important. I think your issue with regards to kids is important, and if I can just finish, because I only have 30 seconds, I think it begins in the schools as well. We need a bullying program in our curriculum, in our school department, and I don't believe we have one, and if we have one, I don't think it's being followed. So that's one specific way that I would answer your question. And I would also mention that when I was in office, we did have an inclusive environment. We called for a gender-specific police civil service list. We called for a language-specific civil service list in the police department to hire folks that would better reflect our community. We had folks on my personal staff from various cultures, including the gay community. So I would continue that, obviously, if I was mayor. So thank you.
Thank you. Ann Mahoney?
I can hear the pain in your voice when you talk of this. And I know the pain in people's voice when they're dealing with this because their loved one is having issues or their family members are having issues. But most importantly, our community, when somebody is homeless, is having issues. And we do pull together in a school system. I know we have, because I have helped families transition from other communities into our school system so that they can be in a safe environment. I have worked with families individually to help them do that. You're specifically talking about homelessness and the issue of really depression when it happens because they don't feel as though they have a community to go to. Quincy has to come into the 21st century and realize that we need to start taking control and helping people because this is nothing to be ashamed of. And the problem is that there's still shame in the reality of for people that are gay and lesbian and transgender. And we need to help them realize that they do have a safe place to be, and we can do that in a new day in Quincy with a new mayor who is open to our new community. And it's not new, it's acceptance. And it's acceptance and belief in each other. And when we work together, we can accomplish that.
Thank you. Mayor Koch?
I would concur to some degree with my two candidates here that the schools are so important. And we have provided additional funding each of the last several years to our school budget. We have a very aggressive program in our schools, and we have a number of homeless kids that we know we work very closely with. School psychologists, all these, as Dr. Christopher calls it, surround care is made available to these families and these kids. Homelessness in general, we've been working extremely hard. We work with Quincy Neighborhood Housing Services, Father Bill's Mainspring. We work with QCAP and a number of our organizations providing new housing units in our city to get homeless families out of the shelter situation and into apartments and into homes. We've been successful with that, and very specifically, we've had a number of units just recently added for veterans that are returning home. So we'll continue to work it. It's an issue that needs more attention.
Thank you. And Doug Gutro.
Thank you, Tim, for that comment. And let me say the LGBT issues are deeply personal to me because my brother came out 15 years ago and I helped him through some of those issues. But the issues that you talk about, the homelessness and the drug issues and some of that, these are issues that we need to bring forth as a city, that we need to talk about. I mean, I know we have Councilor Finn here that has extraordinary depth of knowledge on some of the transitional housing issues and all of that, but it's all about a public dialogue. The other thing that I want to say is that I'm a member of the Mass Municipal Association Board of Directors, 351 cities and towns. Over the course of my career, I've cultivated relationships with mayors and town managers elsewhere. If someone has a model that works, we should bring it to the city of Quincy. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't make an effort today. But having people like Tim or Councilor Finn or others step up and participate and begin to drive a discussion is what we need as a city and what I will bring as mayor. Thank you very much.
Okay, how about another big round of applause for our mayoral candidates? Don't forget to vote in the primary on September 24th. Thank you, and have a good night.